just wanted to make a video today that is a little bit timely with the holidays coming up and how you guys can use kind of the concepts that are talked about in minimalism and simple living to simplify, minimalize your holidays, and also reduce all the environmental impact of some of the traditions that we practice for the holidays. I'm going to go a little bit deeper than some of those videos that kind of just focus on, okay, like don't look at ads and then you won't want things. So one of the biggest things that causes us to decide that we need to have a specific item is discontent. There are basically all sorts of things that create discontentment in life, and some of those are totally beyond our control. Like there's actually research that environmental factors can lead to changes in emotions of populations. So if you guys don't already know, El Nino is a environmental phenomenon that can cause torrential rain in some areas, changes in weather in other areas. There's a new paper published in Nature that finds that countries where El Nino exerts its effects brings with it a significant extra risk of civil conflict. It's just crazy that our climate can actually have an impact on our country's emotions and feelings, discontentment. Another famous piece of writing about weather changes and the impact on our emotions is in Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. She writes, "There's something uneasy in the Los Angeles air this afternoon. What it means is that tonight a Santa Ana will begin to blow. A hot wind from the northeast, blowing up sandstorms out along Route 66, drying the hills and nerves to flashpoint. We know it because we can feel it. The baby frets, the maid sulks. I rekindle a waning argument with the telephone company, then cut my losses and lie down, given over to whatever is in the air. To live with the Santa Ana is to accept, consciously or unconsciously, a deeply mechanistic view of human behavior." So basically we know that seasonal fluctuations can have an impact on human behavior, discontentment, all those sorts of feelings. For some people, the seasonal impact of holidays can have a huge impact on discontentment. And I definitely feel this too. I found that one of the biggest things around this time of year is feeling discontent and feeling like you need to have a change. I mean, like we naturally have those New Year's resolutions coming up. This time of year is a big time for rebirth, rethinking how our lives are going, and really embracing like the cyclical nature of life. And that's important. Like it's important to take that time to reassess how your life is going and whether you're happy with how things are going. And discontentment isn't necessarily like a bad thing. The problem is when these companies that create products for us take that discontentment that we might all naturally feel around this time of year and use that to get as much money as they can, basically. Consumer companies aren't the only ones who kind of capture this discontent and turn it into profits. Another example is the diet industry. They do really well this time of year. I'd urge you to look at some more practical and environmentally friendly challenges you can do, like a 30-day zero waste challenge. Another one too is Courtney Carver's Project 333, which is a minimalist fashion challenge that invites you to dress with 33 items or less for 3 months. So that could be a really fun one to try if you want to kind of get some change into your wardrobe. Unfortunately, it's not just about money. If you're trying to reduce your environmental impact this time of year, a lot of times falling into those traps of mass purchasing is going to be extremely harmful to the environment.
A recent World Bank report projected that the amount of solid waste generated globally will nearly double by the year 2025, going from 3.5 million tons to 6 million tons per day.
Where do all your old clothes really end up?
Ultimately, it is going to end up in a landfill.
8 million metric tons of plastic trash enters the sea from land every year. The equivalent of 5 plastic bags filled with trash for every foot of coastline in the world.
Do you remember when we still had time, if not to revise? first things, well, at least not to cause worse things, and we decided not to. It was easier not to.
And one of the big things that people always mention when these kind of things come up is, why should I care so much about what I do when people in other countries are having 10 babies or anything like that? So researchers have actually looked at that, and they see that the environmental impacts on a per capita basis are much, much higher in a richer country. So countries with the highest consumption have about 5.5 times on average more environmental impact than the world average. So this is pretty much a shocking statistic. Every additional dollar of consumption, I see my cat right here. Every additional dollar of consumption is responsible for 720 grams of greenhouse gas emissions and 28 liters of water. Every $1. It's not only about what it took to create that good, what it took to grow the things that the good is made out of, what it took to move the things after they were grown to the factory so that they could make them, move it to you, that good going and being thrown away, and the energy it takes to recycle or trash or whatever, the good that you had bought. So how does that translate realistically to you in your house, your family dynamics, and a bunch of kids or a bunch of parents or a bunch of friends that are expecting gifts from you? I'll talk a little bit personally. So one thing that I do in my family, my boyfriend and I, we don't get each other gifts. So we've just decided that that's not something that we find value in. And so we do plane tickets, like to go see one of our families, pay for experiences like tours in an animal sanctuary or something like that. There's been times that he's gotten me money that went towards a physical good that I really needed to replace, like when something's broken. So what do you do if you can't come to an agreement with someone about whether or not you should do gifts? So this is what my recommendation is that my mom will always ask, what do I want for Christmas? And if I say I don't want anything, I just want to see you, it doesn't matter. Then I'll show up and I'll get a bunch of trinkets, like stuff that I didn't really even want to begin with, because they need to have the presents under the tree, have some sort of feeling like that. So what I've started doing that works pretty well is I'll be like really explicit. If they ask what I want, I'll give them some ideas for specific things that I actually needed, that I was going to buy anyway. So I think this year I asked for hiking socks and skiing socks because I have no pairs right now, and I'm using these little like thin cotton socks to go hiking, and I really, really need a pair of like good socks. That's a physical good, and that's something I needed anyway. It might not be perfect the first year. You might run into a few roadblocks, but as they get used to you asking year after year, it's going to be a lot easier. As well, I also recommend a practice in mindfulness when you're with your family, when you're with loved ones. One thing I really like to do when I'm having like a really fun day is like put the phone down, have a nice warm coffee, a nice warm drink, and then just like be in the moment, feel like the love of your family around you, your friends, or whoever you identify as your loved one, your cat. If your cat's the one that you think that you have the most love for in this universe, which is probably my situation, just hold your cat and pet him and like feel that feeling of love and try to internalize that as much as you can. And another idea to reduce your environmental impact around the holidays is to have a vegan holiday dinner. A vegan dinner is going to not only save animal lives, but save you a ton of water, or even just replace some of the meals that you already have with a vegan option. Most of the time people won't even notice as long as you don't tell them that it's not vegan. So those are my ideas for reducing your environmental impact this holiday season, and minimalism, kind of just mentally dealing with all of the changes coming this time of year. So I hope that has helped you guys out. I like doing these kind of videos because I'm really preaching to the choir, because I've been feeling so much discontent and I've been feeling like I need a change. So I'm sure that I'm not the only one. If you guys want to see more content like this, then like this video, subscribe to my channel. I do videos on veganism, wildlife biology, simple living, minimalism, whatever I feel like I'm in the mood for today. leave a comment below about what tip you guys are going to implement this holiday season to increase your sustainability and lower your environmental footprint. So thanks.